Water bodies all around the world have been storing a lot of things we never imagined they would, because everything that goes down into the water doesn't make its way back. Resultantly, we can assume that rivers, lakes, seas and oceans found around us are quite unforgiving places. Numerous things, whether large or small, getting into these are forced to stay underwater and form part of huge repositories held in every water body. These items stay underwater, maybe for days, decades, centuries, or even forever, but certain things are eventually discovered by humans. Tales of these discoveries are always intriguing as well as interesting, and at times may be mind-blowing. Today we'll go through some of the most unique items discovered underwater. But before we begin, do take a moment to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our upcoming videos. Recovery of submerged train. Almost a century ago, a train was dumped in the Edivo River in Southland, New Zealand. The remains of a locomotive, having an age of over 135 years, were brought out of the river in January 2020. In 1927, the authorities decided to dump the V-class steam train into the river as it had been declared obsolete and useless. People of the area protested against this controversial decision. Consequently, numerous attempts were made during succeeding years to bring it out of the water, but these efforts were not successful based on various pretexts. By January 2020, people had almost given up on the idea of recovering the locomotive from the river. It's interesting to know that people hold this particular train in high esteem, as it was the only fully intact locomotive of its kind found in New Zealand. During the early parts of the 20th century, trains of their kind were a common sight and were used both for passengers and goods transportation. Later on, with the advent of modern trains, several of these were scrapped or used for other purposes. Despite having been in mud for over a century, the locomotive was in great condition as its wheels spun freely at the time of its recovery by a crane. Skeletons enjoying underwater tea party. In May 2015, a diver was shocked to see skeletons arranged as if they were attending a gathering at the bottom of the River Colorado near La Paz in Arizona. He was initially terrified as he thought it was a crime scene and immediately called the police. The skeletons were wearing glasses and rested on garden chairs as if enjoying a tea party. Turns out it was actually an art installation. These skeletons are still there underwater and have decayed badly since this footage was captured in 2015. These skeletons are not real. One of them bears a sign in its hand which reads, "Bernie Team in the River." No one is sure whether Bernie is the name of this skeleton or the name of the artist. It might even refer to the US presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. The wise artist had included a date on the sign reading 16th of August 2014. So far, no one has come up to claim ownership of the skeletons. Drowned church. About 35 years ago, the town of Potosi, located in Venezuela, was purposefully inundated as the government had planned to construct a dam for storing the water of a river flowing in its vicinity. Over time, the water is receding gradually and existing structures of the erstwhile town are slowly becoming visible. Most prominent among these structures is the old Gothic church. Its spire had never been completely below the waterline in the past. People had captured images of the top of the church prominently visible out of water, even since 1985. In 2008, some sailors on the lake near the Urubonte Reservoir noticed that the parts of the church started becoming more visible with every passing day. In the dry spell during 2010, the lake almost fully dried up, which revealed the complete structure of the magnificent church, as well as the stony structures in its surroundings. The immense impact of water erosion has completely destroyed all other buildings of Potosi. It probably substantiates the people had abandoned the town much before the construction of the dam facility in 1984. Discovery of Astrolabe. In ancient times, the Astrolabe was used for navigation. It used to be quite complicated equipment and also represented the known extents of the universe as perceived by the manufacturers of the equipment. It was also considered handy to track the movement of celestial bodies in the sky. In October 2021, an astrolabe was discovered from Viveiro estuary in northwestern Spain. As per records, this piece was the 108th astrolabe found so far. It was manufactured between 1575 and 1622. Experts believe that the shipwreck from which this astrolabe was recovered was probably named San Bartolome, a galleon that had perhaps sank in this area in 1597. As per archaeologists, this astrolabe is one of the 10 best preserved pieces of equipment of its kind. The astrolabe could be used to calculate the position of the ship by aligning the rod on its circular base with the position of the sun, or a position of a known star at night. Each astrolabe is considered to be handcrafted for a specific owner and thought of as being epic in advancements of navigation in that period. Unknown creature deep inside the Indian Ocean. A video of a strange creature wandering about 3,000 feet below sea level in the Indian Ocean went viral on the internet in 2013. No one could say anything formidable about the identity of the creature. Once again, in March 2021, the same video went viral. However, this time, no one could guess its identity either. The drifting creature resembles a runic symbol or maybe an alien found in a video game. On feeling the presence of approaching remotely controlled underwater cameras, the creature shrinks and appears to look like a ball. Subsequently, it entirely changes its shape and adopts a fanning out position, which some witnesses relate to the top of a lemon squeezer. It transforms the body completely and goes one step ahead by adopting a rainbow light display. After this last act, the strange creature went into the jets of a vehicle and was torn into pieces. A lot of people termed it weird and fake. Jellyfish arm. In November 2021, 23-year-old German diver Lukas Ostertag, while diving with his friends in the Red Sea near Satire Reef off the Egyptian coast, came across a strange sight. He witnessed a tube-shaped object which seems to be alive but has no facial organs, like a mouth or ears or eyes. But it possesses a terrifying claw at the top of its body. Lucas is well conversant with marine life, therefore his first impression was that probably he'd encountered a soft-bodied organism called Apollo. He put the images on social media, and resultantly he learnt from other people that it might be a plant or a sea worm. Some people also thought it was an arm of a huge jellyfish, which could be quite harmful. Experts believe that if a turtle had passed through the area, it might have eaten the jellyfish and left behind just its arm. Underwater Art Museum. The Great Barrier Reef in Australia has been attracting a large number of tourists from all over the world. However, in 2020, its popularity has further been enhanced by the opening of the Underwater Museum of Art, located in its close vicinity. Famous artist Jason DeCaras Taylor designed all the sculptures and art galleries using material that would not pose any threat to the reef as well as the local marine life. For this purpose, he worked in coordination with the scientists of the Australian Institute of Marine Science. Artwork at the museum includes a 40-foot-long sculpture called Marine Greenhouse, which houses 20 Reef Guardian sculptures. People can recognise the location of the gallery above the water surface, as a large statue known as the Ocean Siren is visible from a reasonable distance. The figure depicted on the top of the plinth of the Ocean Siren was modelled on a 12-year-old girl named Dakota Johnson. She's a member of the indigenous Wulgurukaba community. It is a smart statue and connected with the Davis Reef weather station. It changes colour as per variations in the temperature of the ocean. Message bottle in Sheboygan River. We are aware of the concept of writing a message in a bottle and throwing it into the sea. In June 2021, a boat captain, Jennifer Dowker, while sailing in her glass-bottomed boat, discovered a message bottle at the bottom of Sheboygan River in Michigan, USA. She opened the bottle, which had a message bearing the date of November 1926. The note inside read that whosoever find it, to return it to George Morrow of Sheboygan and tell him about where it was found. Jennifer posted the pictures on her Facebook page. Within a few days, she received an emotional phone call from a lady named Michelle Primo, whose father was George Morrow and he had died in 1995. She recognised his handwriting. Doggerland's Forest. During the past thousands of years, the coastlines of Europe have undergone a lot of changes. It's believed that most parts of Europe were connected with a land known as Doggerland. This area was used by hunter-gatherers to walk from the coast of Norfolk in England to Germany. Later on, the area was reclaimed by the North Sea. Resultantly, the British Isles were created. In December 2013, a huge storm off the eastern coast of the UK shifted layers of sediment below the water. It led to the revelation of one of the old forests of Doggerland, which might have been invisible for the past 10,000 years. Marine archaeologists believe that much more interesting things might be hidden in the forest, like artifacts, human remains, etc. However, digging underwater is not easy. Recovery of booster engine of Apollo mission. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, has a keen interest in spaceflight and its history. In 2013, Jeff sponsored a private expedition to retrieve one of the most important space rocket engines from the bed of the Atlantic Ocean. It's a booster engine from a Saturn V rocket that was used for sending astronauts to the moon. The F-1 type engine was detected by the sonar detectors in 2012. It was lying about 2.5 miles below sea level. It's 20 feet high and 15 feet wide, weighing about a ton. It was successfully brought to the surface after an effort of 3 weeks. Bezos thinks that the engine belonged to the Apollo 11 mission. Alien at the Black Sea. In September 2017, a tale circulated that an alien was found at the bottom of the Black Sea near the coast of Anapa, Russia. It's not something real, rather it's a homage to the iconic xenomorph character found in Ridley Scott's Alien movies. It was carved out of disused car parts. This sculpture was prepared by artists in the UK and was formed on the blueprints from H.R. Geiger, who'd initially designed the iconic character for the first Alien movie in 1979. The sculpture was installed here to attract tourists for scuba diving in the area and get a picture with the alien. The strategy has been immensely successful. Owners of diving sites in its vicinity have planned to further expand their collection of sculptures and are hopeful to own an elaborate underwater tourist complex. Maybe they'll incorporate more movie characters. Edivo Winery in the Adriatic Sea. In Croatia, tourists can visit a large number of wineries, but a unique winery is located off the Dalmatian coast, approximately 75 feet below sea level. It's known as Edivo Winery, which is the first and perhaps the only underwater winery in the world. It has been built in a shipwreck and located at the bottom of the Adriatic Sea, near a tiny village called Dres. It has been operative since 2011. In addition to being the only winery licensed to store wine below the seawater, it also has the honour to be the only winery in the world having an active licence to sell wine in amphora, the way ancient Greeks and Romans used to sell and store wine. Winery experts believe that aging the wine gives it a unique taste. In Edivo Winery, each bottle stays down for 2 years and is then brought to the surface for selling. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Do tell us in the comments which one of these discoveries blew your mind. Thank you for watching. We'll see you all next time.